Sherman, Leave a Legacy, episode number 63, was reminded of a quote today. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. If you teach a man to teach others how to fish, you feed an entire generation, an entire village. And so the impact of that is about leadership. And I think that can be translated to either whether you work in a nonprofit or a for-profit organization, if you're an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, or you're an employee looking to have an impactful contribution to your firm or company. And so where I want to go with this from a leadership perspective, as you think about that, feeding someone, teaching them how to do the task at hand, is that leadership is truly magnified when you can empower others to take up ownership of their portion of a project or of a task and really move things forward. And the moment that you really give them that ownership and that empowerment to make the decisions on their own, and sometimes to falter, sometimes to make bad decisions, they will be much more strong in contributing to the overall team once you give them the ability to use their talents. And so a good leader can identify the talents that those individuals have and then has the wonderful ability to bring that potential out and then to allow it to shine. At the same time, I would definitely say as a leader, it's being able to give praise and criticism at the right time. Recognizing that some people like public praise, but most people like private criticism. And some people do like private praise as well. And so it can go a long way to leave a handwritten thank you note, a little gift card, some kind of, hey, attaboy. And when you do that, you're recognizing that person for the contributions that they're having. Oftentimes too, if you know that a particular individual has a weakness in one area, it might be useful to be able to compliment them when you see them working on that weakness. So for example, you have an introvert in the group and they went out of their way to engage verbally in a conflict conversation or a conflict resolution. You want to go back and thank that introvert for doing that. You want to praise them for the tasks that you ultimately want them to do and ultimately how they're overcoming certain weaknesses. I think oftentimes as leaders, we get so caught up in the end result, we don't take stock to go back and say, you know what, everybody, you did a great job. We accomplished what we set out to do, and let's celebrate. Let's go bowling, here's some popcorn, here's a cake. So oftentimes we do a lot of eating. Eating actually culturally, it fits a lot of different cultures, so it's a great way to break bread. There's a lot of psychology that gets involved when you're breaking bread, or if you've made food, there's that love component of making food for others and serving. A very common phrase out there is servant leadership. There's a great book out there by Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last. Is it Simon Sinek? I hope it is. If not, I'm sorry, author. Leaders should eat last. But the book really is called Leaders Eat Last. And it's the whole idea that as a true leader, you want to put your teammates ahead of your own needs. And it's that old adage that if you give them what they need, they'll help you get what you need. Or you give them what they want, they're going to help you get what you want. And I think one of the great testaments of phenomenal leaders is they have the ability to create leaders. So that way when they are gone, the culture still stands, and that the leaders take up the torch and continue in that cause. So, for those of you that are leaders or aspire to be leaders, what task are you working on to become a better leader? Have a fantastic day.